You remember the moment wrong. Not slightly wrong. Structurally wrong. The birthday where you turned 11. The cake. The blue frosting. Your mother's voice. You have carried that memory for 23 years with complete certainty, and 3 weeks ago your mother told you, without any particular drama, that the cake was yellow, that she has never once in her life made blue frosting, that she doesn't know where blue comes from. You told her she was misremembering. She showed you the photograph. Yellow cake. Yellow frosting. Your 11-year-old face above it, mid-laugh, absolutely certain of something that never happened. You filed it under human error. Memory is reconstructive. Everyone knows this. You moved on. Except you didn't move on. You started checking. The notebook is on your kitchen table right now, open to page 7. 41 entries. 41 specific memories you have verified against external evidence in the past 3 weeks. Photographs, records, other people's accounts. And of those 41, 19 are wrong. Not distorted. Not slightly off. Wrong in ways that follow a pattern. Wrong in ways that feel authored. Wrong in ways that suggest the errors were placed rather than made. 19 out of 41. You pour coffee you don't taste and sit down with the notebook and the particular stillness of someone who has been building toward a question they are not sure they want answered. The question is this: what if the errors aren't errors? Here is what you know about simulation theory, assembled over 18 days of reading that began as skepticism and has arrived somewhere you don't have a clean word for. The argument, in its simplest form: any civilization sufficiently advanced will eventually create simulated realities indistinguishable from base reality. If such civilizations exist, and the numbers suggest they would, given enough time, then the simulated realities would vastly outnumber the real one. Probability, therefore, suggests you are in one of the many rather than the one. This is not a fringe position. It is taken seriously by physicists. It has mathematical structure. It has peer-reviewed responses, counter-arguments, entire subdisciplines devoted to its implications. You knew all of this before the notebook. What you didn't know is how it feels to read it after. You start with the small things, because the small things are where the architecture shows. The way conversations resolve. You have noticed, over the past 2 weeks, that conversations in your life tend toward resolution at a rate that does not match what you understand about real human interaction. Conflicts that should fester somehow close. Misunderstandings that should compound instead clarify. People who should drift away have a tendency to reappear at structurally convenient moments, as if someone is managing the cast, making sure no thread is left permanently open. You mention this to your friend Daniel over lunch. He listens the way Daniel always listens, with the particular quality of attention that made you trust him, which you now note is itself suspiciously well-calibrated. That's just survivorship bias, he says. You remember the resolved ones. I've been tracking it, you say? A pause. Then, for how long? 11 days. He looks at you the way people look at someone who has started tracking things. Not with concern exactly, with the careful expression of someone deciding how much to engage. And, he says, 83% resolution rate on interpersonal conflicts. Within 2 weeks. I looked up studies. The average is closer to 40. Daniel is quiet for a moment. Maybe you're just good at relationships, he says. Maybe. Or maybe the simulation is poorly optimized for long-term interpersonal friction because long-term friction is expensive to render, and a resolution rate of 83% is close enough to plausible that no one checks. You don't say this out loud. You write it in the notebook that night. The physics is where it stops being abstract. You spend 4 hours on a Tuesday reading about the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. The fact that particles exist in superposition, in multiple states simultaneously, and collapse into a single defined state only when observed. This has been known for a century. It is the bedrock of modern physics. It is also, you realize at 1:14 a.m., with the kind of clarity that arrives in the specific silence of very late nights, an extraordinarily efficient way to run a simulation. Don't render what isn't being observed. Only compute what the observer needs. A universe that exists in superposition until the moment of measurement is a universe that doesn't waste processing power on unobserved states. It is, in the language of game design, a universe that only loads the room you're currently in. You close the laptop. You sit in the dark for a while. What would you do if you found the architecture of reality in a physics textbook and recognized it as code? There is a specific kind of vertigo that arrives not from height, but from scale, from the moment when the frame you have been standing inside becomes visible as a frame, and you see not the picture but the border and the wall behind it, and the room the wall belongs to, and the fact that you are, and have always been, inside a constructed space whose boundaries you mistook for the boundaries of everything. You are having that vertigo now. It arrives on a Wednesday morning. Nothing dramatic. You are making coffee, the coffee you don't taste, and you look at your hands on the counter and something shifts, the way perspective shifts in those visual illusions where the image flips, and once you see the second image you cannot unsee it. Your hands look right. They have always looked right. The small scar on your left index finger from a kitchen accident at 24, the way the knuckles sit, the particular way the light catches the surface. Correct. Detailed. Exactly what hands should look like. But detail is not evidence of reality. Detail is what you put in when you want something to seem real. You stand in your kitchen for a long time. The question that reorganizes everything is not whether the simulation exists. It is who you are inside it. Not a human in a simulated world. A simulated human in a simulated world. Every memory, including the ones that are wrong, especially the ones that are wrong, installed rather than formed. Every preference, every fear, every conviction about your own identity, parameters, set before you were initialized, running as intended. The notebook, page 7, 41 entries. You look at it differently now. You weren't finding errors in your memory. You were finding the seams. Places where the installation was imprecise, where the rendered past didn't quite match the rendered present, where the joins between your subjective experience and the external record show the gap that appears whenever two separately generated systems are asked to be consistent with each other. 19 out of 41 seams. You think about what that number means. Either the simulation is sloppy, running a consciousness with a 19 and 41 error rate in autobiographical continuity, or the errors are intentional. Placed. A test of some kind. A marker. The kind of thing you leave in a system when you want to see if it's self-aware enough to find them. Both possibilities require the same response. Keep looking. Here is what you cannot resolve. If you are a simulation, the desire to know that you are a simulation is also a simulation. The notebook is a simulation. The 19 errors are simulated errors in a simulated memory. The vertigo in the kitchen, the 1:14 a.m. clarity, the conversation with Daniel, the yellow cake, all of it generated, all of it running as a process inside something you have no access to from the inside. And yet, the feeling of wanting to know is real, or it performs itself as real with a fidelity you cannot distinguish from real. Your hands on the counter looked right. Your curiosity about why they look right is indistinguishable from the curiosity of a person who is actually, biologically, materially here, which means either you are real, or being simulated is functionally identical to being real, and the distinction only matters to whoever is running the process, not to you. You are in the experience either way. The notebook has a 40-second entry now. You wrote it this morning. It reads, "The question is not whether I am real. The question is whether real is the right category." You close it. You make coffee. You taste it this time, or you generate the experience of tasting it. Or the two things are the same and have always been the same, and the word taste has never pointed to anything outside the process of experiencing it. The scar on your left index finger catches the morning light. Installed or earned, it is yours. You carry it either way. And if someone built you to sit in this kitchen on this morning and arrive at exactly this thought, if the vertigo and the notebook and the yellow cake were always leading here, then whoever designed you gave you the one thing that makes the question bearable. They made you the kind of thing that wants to know. That, at minimum, is something. You pick up the notebook. You turn to page 8.